What's going on, guys? Brandon Hudden here. Hope you're having a great day. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing my tips and tricks on how to pose like a bodybuilder. Instead of going out and paying extortionate prices on posing lessons, maybe being taught by a coach how to perform the mandatory poses, because that's what we're going to be going through today. I'm going to share with you guys my tips and tricks on how to perform the poses without you having to spend X amount on a posing coach. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this video. So then guys, before we get started, I'm going to introduce myself a little bit if you are new to the channel. My name is Brandon Harding. I'm 22 years old. I've been going to the gym for the past 6.5 years now. I've competed in 3 bodybuilding shows, placed in second in 2 and third in the other. I've had many posing coaches in the past, and I feel like I've picked individual things from each one of them. And I've also watched a lot of YouTube videos and kind of just like developed my own posing style, things that highlight certain parts of my physique. And I've also developed tricks that will create an illusion for your physique to appear a certain way on stage, which will give you the edge against other competitors. And that's what I want to share with you in these videos, the little tips and tricks that I personally do when posing to make me look a little bit more aesthetically pleasing than I actually look. Posing is a lot about body composition and the way you present yourself, and that's what I'm going to go through in today's video. So yeah, with that being said, let's get started. My current weight is 218 pounds. I'm currently 10 weeks out from my 4th bodybuilding competition. I'm gonna be doing the PC8 Birmingham show, which is on the 11th of May. So I've got just about 10.5 weeks until show day, but this is my current condition. We're gonna go through some of the poses, the basics, and then afterwards we're gonna sit down and analyze each individual pose, pointing out specific things that I am doing and thinking about when I'm posing that I can't talk about while I'm holding my breath. So let's get started. Excuse the tan, by the way. I was feeling extra pale lately and I thought a tan was necessary. We live in the UK. There's never any sun. So we got a tan. This is what I'm currently looking like. Relaxed, front, back, and side. And now we're gonna go through all the mandatory poses that I will be performing on stage. And the first is the front relaxed, which is not really relaxed because you still have to basically tense every muscle in the body, but this is what it is. So this part of your foot in the ground, point it out a little bit and drive through the ground. This is going to tense your quads. So as soon as I do that, quads are engaged. You don't have to think about tensing your quads. So as soon as you press out, they'll be engaged. You'll have to do this for like most of the poses except for the back poses. This is going to make sure your quads are always tensed, which is really what you want. So quads are engaged, and then lats out, and then arms bends in a bit. It's going to make your arms look a little bit shorter, going to make them look a bit wider, which is what you want. So, and then come forward a bit because the judges are going to be down there. From down there, it's going to look like you're like doing this. It's going to look quite ridiculous, so you don't want to do that. So perform the pose, come forward a bit, and then hold it, and then you're done. All poses, when practicing, you do want to like hold for about 5 to 10 seconds because on stage, they could make you hold that pose for around 5 to 10 seconds. And the last thing you want is to look like you're out of breath, trying to catch your breath against all the other competitors that are going to be like really holding their pose, not shaking, because you don't want to shake as well. When you are performing these poses, you want to be like a rock. You don't want to be like front of a bicep doing that, because you see those videos on stage and the competitors look so uncomfortable, which is what you do not want. So next pose, pose number 2, is a front double bicep. Feet. Okay, what I'm doing when doing this pose, I'm sucking my stomach in, which is gonna bring all of my organs up because my diaphragm is pushing them up. This is gonna appear that your chest is bigger, making you look wider from the top half and making your waist look a lot slimmer. The vacuum pose is a classic pose. I'm going to teach you how to do a vacuum pose later on when we analyze these poses, but vacuum in, make sure your wrists are pointed inwards. This is going to bring up the peak of your bicep, which is going to make your biceps, your arms look a lot wider in general. Arms forward as well, because when your arms are bring forward, it almost does create the illusion that like your arms are less long. Me being really long limbed, I'm at a disadvantage when it comes to arm poses because they are so long. Imagine someone with the same muscle mass as me but with shorter arms, it's gonna be more condensed, look wider. So And that is how I perform the double bicep. Next, the side chest. I drop my wrist just a little bit, engaging my forearm, which is what you want. You want to engage this muscle right here. Press the bicep and the tricep against the lat. This is going to make the arm a little bit wider. Now, my big tip when it comes to this movement is making your torso seem shorter. This is going to make your whole top half seem a lot wider against those shorter guys on stage, which is what I struggle with. So, calf, hamstring, glute, and then bring your ass up, which is going to bring your hamstring round more. It's going to make it look a lot better, more of a sweep, and it's going to just generally bring it out. And then your shoulder down, which is going to make your torso seem shorter, making you look a lot wider. So this is without doing it, so like this. But then you bring it up, make your torso seem shorter, hamstring better, hopefully a little bit wider. I can't really see what I'm doing, I'm looking at camera, so hopefully it's going well. Side tricep? Yeah, side tricep. So same kind of positioning, but instead, foot around here, tense the calf. You can do it many different ways. You can do it like the same way, like that. Personally, I prefer to bring the calf around, arm up, tense the abs, press the tricep against the lat, breathe out. And sometimes try and bring this shoulder round to tense your chest, to bring out the separation of your chest right here. But don't forget, you can easily forget about the condition of your legs. So when you're concentrating so much on the top, it's easy to untense that calf and then it's going to look flat. Always be conscious you are tensing every single muscle in the body. It's very easy to forget when you're under pressure of people judging you, the audience, the music, and everything like that. So side tricep. Again. All right, next pose. This is one of my personal favorites. I don't know why, I like the way it makes my back look quite wide and my quads sweep from the sides come out. I just like the whole like symmetry of this pose. So it's a front lat spread. Feet dry through the ground, hands on the back. Use your thumbs to press against your muffin tops, my muffin tops. You're like the top of your hip right here. Press your thumbs against it. When you press your thumbs against it, it's going to help tense your back. You don't really need to tense your back, but you need to bring out your lats. So the best thing to do is thumbs against the skin. Might hurt a little bit, but you will get used to it, I promise. Thumbs against the back. Bring the lats out as wide as you can, and then knock forward just a little bit. When I do this, I try to breathe in a little bit as well to make my waist look a bit thinner, creating the illusion that I am more of a V taper from the middle. Your top half goes out and your legs go out like an X, so you are an X. Do it again. Lats round. One thing I used to struggle with was making sure my shoulders are an equal, like they're straight, right? Because before I performed the pose, unknowingly, my shoulder was up like that. Because I hadn't performed poses in the mirror and been critiqued before, that was something I was unaware of. The best thing to do is when performing these poses, get somebody to watch you. It's not embarrassing. You go to the gym, put in the hard work, why not be able to showcase your physique in the most aesthetically pleasing way? To get someone, a friend, a family member, to sit there and make sure that all your dimensions are straight, right? You want it to look as best as it can. So that is the front lat spread. I'll give some more tips a little bit later on in the video, but next we're gonna move around to the back. So first one is a back relaxed. Start off with your calves, hamstrings, bring the glutes in, lower back, bring your lats out, bring your arms back, tensing your rear delt and tense your arms to finish. And there we go. They say it's relaxed, but it is definitely not relaxed. Okay, next is going to be the back lat spread. Very, very similar, but instead you do what you do with the front lat spread. Your thumbs are going to be on your side, and with this pose, you almost want to lean back a little bit more. Bring one leg backwards. This is going to help you tense the calf and engage the hamstring, which is going to show off the hamstring tie, which is right in here, and it's going to help accentuate the striations in your glutes if you got lean enough. So this is a back lat spread. I'm going to bring one leg back, tense the calf, hamstring in, glutes, lat spread, and then lean back. Tensing everything. Next is going to be the back double bicep. Same principle. Calf, hamstring, glute, bring it in, down, lock it in, bring it round, and then bring your wrist back. When you bring your arm back like that, it's going to help engage all of the muscles your traps, your scapula is gonna be retracted. Everything is gonna be tensed up when your arms are brought back like that. And it's gonna appear that your back is shorter, making it look wider again, like I was saying about that illusion. So what you could do is bring it up like that, and that's one thing. Or, like I said, bring it round and back, which helps engage the muscles that much more. Next pose, we have the most muscular. There are actually 3 variations to do this pose. I prefer just one, but I'm gonna go through them all to show you what I'm talking about. Feet through the ground, quads, and then almost like hunch over a little bit in a way, engage your chest. Make sure to push your arms against your lats. This is gonna help bring your shoulders out and make them look really capped and rounded. So against your lats, bring your arms in, tense your abs, and smile. I always forget about smiling, just want you to like act as if you are having a good time, even though you're probably dying. Next, most muscular pose is hands against the hips. I personally don't really like this one. I don't feel like it fits my physique that well, but this is the variation. Tensing your chest. The most muscular is one of them poses where it doesn't really matter what you're doing as long as you're tensing everything. It's the showcase pose. It's the finale though, like I'm a monster, this is what I am, that kind of thing. Which brings me on to the last variation of the most muscular pose, which is one quad down, bring your foot up. This is gonna help engage my small calf muscle, which is right in the front. Tense your legs in a way that's almost like you're wringing out a towel, like squeezing every last bit of juice out of it, because that quad is not gonna striate unless you tense the hell out of it. So foot up, quad down, and then you crab over. So you don't bring your arms like this, you don't like do this, you go over like a crab, and it helps bring up the chest, makes your traps come out a little bit. With your traps looking bigger, makes your shoulders look smaller. So it depends what you want to look like on stage. So again, 1, 2, and then my favorite, 3. Next is the abs and thigh, because at the moment my abs aren't really coming through as much as they will in the next few weeks, but this is what the pose basically is. So tense your arms. You want them to still be engaged, and I can't accentuate this enough, release all the air out of your lungs. When you think they're empty, they're not empty. You need to push further. So, alright, so guys, that is it for the posing walkthrough. Right now, we're gonna sit down and go through the poses in slow motion, more in depth, to pick out some of the little things that I may have forgotten while holding my breath, just to give you guys more information on individual poses. So let's get into it. I think guys, right now we're gonna go through all the poses more in depth. I've put them all together on my laptop, so we're gonna, analyze them as we go through the poses, just to speak about some things that I didn't touch on in the posing. So we've got the footage right here. So first pose is going to be the front relaxed. So as you can see, there's the front relaxed. With all these poses, I'm just gonna pause it there. With all these poses, you wanna make sure that you're opening yourself out. You don't wanna seem like you're scared, frail, like you're not excited to be on stage. Every pose you hit, you want to fully open out your limbs and just be like, you know what, present the attitude, I am here and this is what I've worked for. You don't want to do a double bicep and do it like that. You want to do as Arnold said.
Remember one thing, when you pose, when you do an arm pose, they do so never do that, never hide away. Like right now I did like this. Show them the whole thing. Fully extend your limbs and pop it out and be excited to be there. Show people boom, this is me, I'm here to stay, that kind of thing, rather than just hey, I've only been prepping for 12 weeks, but I'm kind of scared to be here. Act confident. Confidence is one of the main things that you want to be on stage. And then we're gonna go to the next pose, which is the front double bicep. Same thing, make sure you're opening out. And make sure as well that your fists are pointed inwards, like I was saying. Make sure they're pointed in symmetrically. I used to struggle with this one being pointed in, this one would always naturally point in more. So make sure you have someone again to critique you and just to move you in position, just in case you're not symmetrical. You may feel in perfect symmetry, but you may visually not be. So always get someone to check that out. So here we have it, the vacuum. Stomach is in, diaphragm is up, performing a vacuum pose. I prefer to perform vacuum poses when doing a front double bicep. You can
do certain techniques to perform a vacuum pose. I've just always been able to do it. Some people struggle, but what I would do is in the morning, do some core exercises. The reason I think I could do it is because I used to box when I was younger, and a lot of the boxing training was core work, a lot of plank, sit-ups. Naturally having a strong core in going into bodybuilding, I could always naturally just do the vacuum pose. Rich Piana, before he passed away, he made a video about doing like a vacuum pose every single day, how he would hold his stomach in as hard as he could for like as long as possible, like 20 or 30 seconds, holding your breath. Do that 3 times every single morning, and you will therefore like be practicing on bringing your stomach into your body, which is like an aesthetic style of pose. You don't have to do a front double bicep like this. I just prefer to do it like that. So next pose, engage the calves, engage the hamstrings. Nice little feel right there. Arm against the lat. Watch how my physique now transformed in bringing my ass up and my shoulder down. My body just looks wider. My arm that's facing towards the back looks a little bit wider, and my arm is flexed that much more. And my hamstring comes out from underneath, which is what we were talking about, which is what we want. Next pose is the side tricep. Now, because my triceps do insert quite high, as you can see, my triceps, I feel like this pose looks better to me the leaner I get, because the body fat isn't hiding where the tricep inserts into the shoulder and, you know, connects into the bicep. The leaner I get, the better this pose looks. But again, making sure you're constantly tensing the calf. Pressing the one leg against the hamstring is gonna make it look that much wider. Pressing your lat against your arm, your other leg against your hamstring, all these things are gonna present the illusion that your muscles are fuller, rounder, and wider than they actually are, which is, you know, gonna give you the edge on stage. Lat spread, my favorite pose. Again, sucking the stomach in, engaging the leg, making sure the shoulders are parallel. Try not to look so moody like me, but with this pose especially, try and lean back into it a little bit. This is gonna make your body seem shorter, making your lats look wider. Hand placement is a massive thing with this pose. Don't bring your hands too close to your belly button, especially if you have wide lats. This is gonna hide the width of your lats. My forearms are almost covering my lats, but they're not quite, so it's okay. The judges wanna see your lats in this pose. Next pose is the back relaxed. Engage the calves, hamstrings, glutes, arms around, and what happens is when you bring your arms back and you tense your rear delts and you lean back a little bit, this almost makes your back muscles, your lats and everything else look a lot more condensed, which is gonna make them pop a lot more, which is what you want. Next, double bicep, one leg back, engage the hamstring. With this, you really can accentuate the striations in the hamstring, so, you know, tense that bitch as hard as you can. Next pose, we have the back lat spread. Same again with the legs. Sit into the pose. What I mean by this is not like almost like you're sitting on a chair, like sit on your hamstring as if it's keeping you up. This is gonna help engage the muscles and make them look a lot more striated when you're in condition. Press your thumbs against your love handles and bring your lats out as far as possible while still not extending your lats too much to spread them out to make them look thin, because you still want those lats to look really thick and nice. So don't spread your lats out too much, but enough to, you know, make the lat spread look nice and wide. And now finally, we have the most musculars. This is my favorite variation. Make sure all the air is exiting your lungs. Bring your arms in, bring your shoulders out more, engage the legs. Then we have the crab. This is like the finisher, the I'm here, I'm gonna win, I am number one kind of pose, you know, really just like stressing how much you have developed your shoulders, chest, and arms. And then we have the one that I hate, because I think it makes my hips look a little bit wide, as you can see, because my arms and the other ones hide my hips. I have naturally boxy hips. That's why I don't really like this one, but even still. And there we have it. That is all the poses done. Brilliant in the background. One thing I want to stress is have fun with these poses. You know, don't get too stressed out. Bodybuilding is a very enjoyable sport. You spend so much time killing yourself in the gym, trying to build a physique. The best way to showcase that is if you are having a great time. You should be having a great time while performing these poses. You are presenting all of the hard work you have put in over the past few years. You're now showcasing everything you work for, so why not have fun with it? And the final thing I want to say is, you may think you are good at posing, and you may very well be, but you can never be too good. Never forget to practice, even if you've done 10 shows. The pros, IFBB pro, Kai Green, he still attends posing seminars, posing practice every couple of weeks, and he's an IFBB pro. He placed second in the Olympia, probably one of the best posers of our generation, and he still practices, which is a testament to what we should all apply to our own lives. It doesn't matter how good you are, never, You know, never get comfortable. Always try and get better every single day, which is what I'm trying to do. And I'll be posing more frequently as I get closer to show day, just to polish up, because even my posing is quite sloppy. You know, it's not perfect. It can always get better. Some of the poses, I'm still trying to figure out how to perform them to present my physique in the best way. Over time, we will get there. You know, we're all gonna make it. So with that being said, guys, I'm gonna end this video here. If you enjoyed this video, please smash the like button. If you think this video could help a friend, maybe a gym partner, someone that you know is struggling with bodybuilding poses, please share it with them. If you haven't already, join the Don Squad. Please subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.